So now you know why pain is necessary in order to achieve your deepest levels of happiness. If you don't know, go back to your previous video. It'll explain to you exactly everything, and make sure you watch the whole series in order. I cannot stress this enough. This is crucial before you move on. Now we're going to be talking about how to stop comparing yourself to others. This is the #1 issue that most people face in their 20s and 30s, so I'll see you there. In this video, we're going to talk about feeling behind in life and how to stop comparing yourself to others. This is, I think, a huge component of quarter-life crisis. Probably one of the main thoughts or words that you have in your head is that you feel like you're behind, right? Because in your quarter-life crisis, you're thinking about where you are in life right now. That's why it's called a quarter-life crisis, because it's where you are at in life. And you compare yourself to others as in what they are achieving relative to their age, their social status, their whatever education. So let's say if you're 22-year-old, you're going to compare yourself to other 22-year-olds or 23-year-olds, right? If you're 30 and like all of your friends are getting married and having kids, you're going to start comparing yourself to people who are married and having kids. And you're going to start feeling bad because you are single or, you're not married yet. That's a huge thing of concern, especially in the women I've coached, like in their late 20s to early 30s, that tends to happen. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to cover why you feel behind in life, how to stop feeling behind in life, how to stop comparing yourself to others, and the solution of thinking ahead and not thinking about your past. So the first thing to ask, let's first ask, you feel behind, but you feel behind relative to what? All right, you have to ask this question because usually when people say they feel behind, it's usually compared to society's expectations or compared to their friends, right? As I've said before, women, it's like they feel, for example, that when all their friends are getting boyfriends or getting married or children, and if she hasn't finished school and is still working at Starbucks or, living with her parents, she feels bad about it, and they're like, I thought that in my mid-20s, late 20s, I'd already be married, I already have a good job, but I still would live with my parents, I have this shitty job. Men, for example, it might be a bit different, all of their friends are getting the bigger jobs, moving up the corporate ladder and making more money, getting girlfriends, and while he's still single and struggling in dating and has a shitty job, and they might feel like they're not living up to their potential. Are those expectations healthy or even accurate, right? Ask yourself this. When you have these thoughts in your head, ask yourself if is it reasonable to expect that of me? Or where did these expectations come from? So why do you feel behind in life? Why do you have these thoughts? Why can't you just be happy right now, no matter where you're at in life, right? It's simple. It's because you compare yourself to others. And social media doesn't help in this, but you look into social media and everyone is trying to put them, it's like this highlight reel. They're trying to show only the best parts of themselves, only when they're graduated, only when they're running this 500-kilometer marathon, only when they've won the gold medal and won all these awards. And you see that constantly on social media, and of course it messes with your head. You feel behind in life also because of society's ideals and standards, and it's like, after university, you should get a good job, you should live in a nice condo or a house, you should, get kids eventually, get married, and, you should make, on average, $50K per year. I hate this sort of middle class sort of standard, like, you should be making this amount per year, this is the average, and if you make below that, then you're poor or whatever. I always found this stupid, and personally, I didn't care. I was like, what, fuck that. I'm gonna live in a shitty apartment, and I rented this room, that curtain room that I talked to you about, and I got a part-time job getting paid really little, could barely survive, so I could pursue my passion with Nameless. So you want to fuck that, right? Forget all that, right? You want to start thinking for yourself. Also, why do you feel behind in life is because of shoulds, right? Should statements of, I should be doing this by that age. Most people, they believe, by age 25, I should be out of university. I should have a good job. I should be a lawyer. I should be this. I should be that. oh, by age 18, I should have already, dated a few girls. I should already have a boyfriend, girlfriend. By age 18, I shouldn't be a virgin anymore. Whatever, all these preconceptions. And what I want to tell you is that there are no shoulds in life. There's no such thing as you have to do this, you have to do that, and things should be this way. Life is as it is. Because life is as it is, don't judge it. Don't put a judgment on it. And those are just human constructs that we created. And this is just sort of a standard of society. And it's not because everybody believes it to be true that it is true. That you have to, be married by that age, or have a house by that specific time in your life. It makes no sense. You feel behind in life because of the pressure from your parents and from other people. And this is huge because, I've heard stories all the time of like parents that tell, their daughters like, hey, when do you get married? When am I going to be a grandmother? When are you going to have kids? Shouldn't you have a job by now? I know one of my friends, when he lived with his parents basically asked him every single day, what is he going to do with his life? Every single day at dinner table. And it was so crushing to him that he had to move out. And while your parents, they want the best for you, they want to help you, that doesn't necessarily help, right? When they're putting pressure on you and all that. And, if you're still living at home, what I'm telling you is, you might want to consider leaving, especially if your parents are really being toxic or putting a lot of pressure on you. You might consider leaving because this will mess a bit with sort of your crisis even more if your parents are being negative and not really supportive. So now that you know why you feel behind in life, how do you actually stop feeling like you're behind in life? How do you move on from that and stop comparing yourself to others? First, realize that everyone has their own journey. Yes, you might hear some crazy story, on Facebook that some prodigy child Asian kid, learned the piano at age 3 and he's a concert pianist, whatever, and he's an expert. And the prodigy who won the Olympics at like age 17, whatever, I don't know, there's some crazy shit like that. You might hear about these. And that's just going to make you feel worse about yourself if you think that you should be at that level, because there's always going to be someone that's better than you in something, right? No matter, there's this funny saying that whatever you do, there's always a 6-year-old Asian kid that's better than you at this thing, which is so funny. But, it's kind of true in a sense that whatever you do, there's always someone better. So you will never win that game of comparison. And, there's no age to be successful. You could be successful tomorrow, who knows? There's some people who are successful on YouTube at age like 17, 18. Me, I'm in my mid-20s now. I'm still learning. I'm not at 1 million yet. So my journey is different. Colonel Sanders started KFC at age 65. Yeah, age 65. This is insane. So it might take a bit longer than you expect. And while there will always be that one person that's better than you in one thing, you can always be better than some other people in something else, right? So as simple as me, I might suck at drawing, but I'm pretty good at speaking on camera. I'm much better than I think most people because I've done it so many times. And, I'm probably the best guy on earth to, be speaking on a camera with a mask on my head and also be a life coach, right? I'm pretty much the best in the world at it. And, you want to play to your strengths and work on your weaknesses without focusing on them. So that's another tip to stop, comparing yourself is, if you focus on your weaknesses, you're always going to feel bad because someone is better than you in that thing, probably because it's your weakness. So for example, me, being sort of this leader of a group or, being extroverted and being the life of the party, that's not really my strength. That's not really what I do. So I don't try to play to that strength. I don't, if I were really extroverted, maybe I'd work as a promoter or something and, or I'd make more connections, maybe I start a company with a lot of people with me if I were more extroverted, but, I don't because that's not my strength. Instead, I work at the things that I'm good at. And, the things that you're good at, you feel confidence and you feel high self-esteem when you engage in those activities. And we're going to look more into your strengths in the life purpose segment of the course, next week. So that's going to be great for you. So you want to do the things that you're good at so you feel better about yourself, and don't obsess over doing things you hate or the things you're not good at because, society tells you that you should be good at this thing, or because you should be at least proficient at this thing, right? So for example, if you're not good at school, or if you're not good at, climbing the corporate ladder and, getting promoted, if you're not good at getting a job, who cares? I mean, yes, those things are important in themselves, in a certain way, but you should not define yourself by these things, right? You shouldn't define yourself by your report card, by your title, by, what other people think, and, your social status at your job. That makes no sense. And and also, while you focus on your strengths, you can work on your weaknesses, and by doing that, you will develop patience, humility, discipline, resilience, and without over focusing on your weaknesses, but by working on them, you're also going to feel better about yourself. One of the best tips I also have for you is think ahead. Think ahead and don't overthink the past, right? The past is the past, and the more you ruminate on the past, the more held back you'll feel. And me, for example, I got rejected by film school. Yes, it felt really bad. I didn't enjoy it. That's not something that made me happy. But I moved on from it. And if I kept ruminating on that thing, kept dwelling on the past, I would feel even more behind. I'd feel like I'm worse in life. So because I stopped thinking about the past, I stopped feeling like I was behind. I started feeling like I was going ahead. Right? Remember this phrase: to stop feeling behind, start thinking ahead. To stop feeling behind, start thinking ahead. Think, what can I do, instead of what could I have done? And that's a huge thing. I think more in your midlife crisis, when you reach your 40s, you have more regret over the past of what are the things you could have done. And that really can keep you stuck, because now, you're still young if you're in your quarter life crisis. So you want to think of what you can do while you have the time. You're still young. There's so many things you can achieve and do. And if you feel behind, don't worry, because you have plenty of time in your life to experience life, make the best out of it. So really, you have to look at time as something on your side. You can rewrite your story with future plot elements in your life that you can add, as you go on adventures, as you try a new career path, or like you start your own business, whatever. As you do that, you rewrite your story, you rewrite your future, which is what we're going to do in the later weeks of the program. And what does that entail to do all of these things? It entails to start thinking for yourself, to become a rebel, as I've explained, to be more individualistic, more independent. It also entails to challenge society's expectations, because you're going against the grain by saying no to all of their expectations as to at what age you should buy a house or condo, when you should be, having children, because all your friends are having children, all that. This is madness, in my opinion. And my ultimate vision for you, is that, you can just be whoever you want, because no one gives a shit and nothing matters. You can be whoever you want and do whatever you want, and no amount of status, success, achievement, whether it be financial, romantic, social, whatever, determines your worth. None of that matters. And those are just artificial constructs of society that were put on just to make you feel bad about where you are right now. And because that's just kind of how things turned out, and it's not because everyone agrees that you should do that you should also do that. Worth doesn't exist. Worth is a concept invented by humans. And, if you put a millionaire and a homeless person in the jungle and on a deserted island, and you tell them to survive on their own, the millionaire doesn't have more value than a homeless guy in that scenario. There's literally no difference. Value is only proportional to society's ideals and expectations. value, worth, as they explain it, it's just in society's eyes, but it doesn't matter because you are not society, you are you. Just look at my life, right? What did I decide to do? I decided to become a superhero on the internet wearing a mask, and I went to festivals to pick up girls with a GoPro on my head. That's how I started this channel, and I started making money doing it. And would society approve of this? Hell no. And imagine saying that in your high school reunion, like, oh, so what do you do for a living? I go to a music festival, pick up girls with a GoPro on my head, and I make money doing that. They're gonna look at you like you're crazy. And I have a mantra for you or saying for you, whenever you feel like you're behind in life, or you feel like compared to others that you're not where you should be. Okay, remember this. Whenever you have this thought, oh, I should be this by that age, I should have this house by that age, I should get this money in my life right now, repeat this to yourself. Yeah, okay, who cares? As long as I'm happy and fulfilled, that's all that matters. So let me repeat. As long as I'm happy and fulfilled, that's all that matters. Because really, even if you're poor, even if you live in a bad apartment, or you live with bad roommates or neighbors, whatever, but you're happy, you're happier than the celebrity who wants to kill himself, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter the amount of fame or success you have. All that matters is you're happy, doesn't it? And for me, the iteration of this thing is more like, as long as I'm working towards my purpose, helping others, and having a contribution in the world, nothing else matters, really. Nothing else matters, and no matter how small my contribution is, or no matter how small the action that I do is, the rest doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as I do that, I am happy. So in conclusion, the reason why you feel behind in life is because you compare yourself to a certain standard of society, or of your friends, or of whatever group of people. Okay, that's why you feel behind in life. And to stop feeling behind, you want to stop comparing yourself to others. You want to think ahead and forget about the past. Yes, learn from the past, but you don't dwell on it. And be whoever you want, because at the end of the day, no one gives a shit and nothing matters, as I've told you. And who cares? As long as you're happy and fulfilled, that's all that matters. So remember this phrase forever. So I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later. So if you enjoyed this free preview of Quarter Life Mastery on how to stop comparing yourself to others, then stay tuned for the final part of this series, part 8, where we talk to you about the illusion of safety, why there is no safe path in life. In your 20s and 30s, there is no safe degree, no safe job, no safe anything. This will blow your mind. So I'll see you on that last video.